Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels.
Lauren here.
Well, in this video, we're going to give you an updated video on temporary visas. Important to know what it costs and what your requirements to get a temporary visa. We're starting a series here, and we're going to be talking in future videos on a permanent visa. Also, we're going to talk about buying a home in Mexico. In this series, we're going to look at other videos like banking, Social Security, getting Medicare. We have made videos in the past about them, but we're still getting people that are new to our station, and we're going to give you information on a bunch of videos upcoming in this series. Mexican temporary visa. Jerry Brown here with Jerry Brown Travels. And what we're going to do, we're going to talk about a temporary visa and how you can apply for a temporary visa. It is a two-part process. The first process, you start outside of Mexico, in your country or your state, and you go to a Mexican consulate office, starting there, and you provide them with the paperwork needed to qualify. You're going to need to make an appointment before you go into the consulate. You'll take a current passport, $40, 2 photographs, face view, the size of a Mexican passport size photo. You're going to show them your income. You need a minimum of $1,950 each. Also 6 months consecutive bank statements showing this amount, $1,950. Or if you're going to go and qualify under investments, you need $35,000 investment each and 12 months, consecutive months, showing that you have $35,000 each month for 1 year to qualify for one person. The second part of this process, after you've been approved, then you will come into Mexico. You will have 30 days to do the second part of the process in Mexico. Some people want to drive their car from the United States, Canada, or their own country in Mexico. Well, you can do that with a temporary visa. You cannot with a permanent visa. The temporary visa is good up to 4 years. The paperwork you're going to need to apply is going to be a valid passport. You're going to need 6 months bank statements, consecutive bank month statements that show that you have the proper amount of income. And that income is $1,950 per person that you have to show, and a 6 month statements there. If you are married, you can show immigration that you have an additional income over that $1,950 of $600 to $700 for the second person to qualify. They would not have to show $1,950. But this is very important. You have to have a marriage certificate that has been stamped and sealed by the official government in your country, state, wherever it is. You can't just bring down a regular copy of a marriage certificate. It has to be a stamped and sealed copy from an official government in your country. Now, if you have children that are coming in, again, tied in with this marriage certificate, you can show an additional $700 a month for each child that they will qualify for a temporary visa also. Now, let's say this is a situation. Let's say one person has enough income, $1,950 US dollars, but the other person doesn't have that, and they may not even have the $700 to qualify. Well, what you can do, the person that can qualify gets a qualified temporary visa. The other one gets 180-day tourist visa. They come in, The person with the tourist visa is going to be able to use it up to 6 months. Then it will expire. You go to the immigration office, or we use a personal attorney that does all this for us. And we recommend that because it's much easier than getting things confused. But they will be able to then qualify as a married person under the qualification of the person that has the temporal visa. So they actually can get by without doing any qualifications at all. Okay, another situation. Let's say that maybe you can't show 6 months of income. Maybe you're younger and you don't even have a pension plan or 6 months income. Well, what you can do, you can show if you have 35,000 US dollars in an investment account, a savings account, and you can give them 12 months, in other words, a whole year, showing that $35,000 in January, February, March, April, etc. And you can qualify under those terms. And again, that's going to be for one person. Another way that will help you show you have income or you have assets, more towards the asset column, is say you own a house in Mexico and you have a deed in your name. If that house appraises at 200,000 US dollars. Also, you can show a home in your country with a valid bill of sale of that home on what you paid for it, or an appraisal on that property that it is your property, and they will use that not so much as income, but at least verify that you have assets. Now, this is very important. Always check with the consulate in your area before you go in and verify these numbers with them. And the reason why Mexico consulates are not consistent, that one office to the other can have different criterias and they have different standards. So check with them and verify everything, not only me, but other people. And even you can go on the different websites, you can get information there, but call the consulate and get the firsthand information as it applies in that particular case that day, because Mexico changes their policies once a year in January. Now, the qualification amount, that changes every year. It's actually based on a formula on a minimum wage of a Mexican person here, and they have this formula. I'm not going to get into it right now, but that's how come you'll see the different prices vary if you're looking at a video older than this or newer than this. And so, because those numbers change every year. Also, because of the devaluation of the Mexican peso, you could be getting 15 pesos per $1, or you could be getting 22 pesos per $1. So verify with the consulate to make sure you have enough money. So you've gotten all that taken care of. That's in the office with the consulate there, and they're going to stamp in your passport that you can come into the country. Now, when you come into the country, if you're coming across the border by driving or by sea or by air, what you'll want to do when you get to where you're going to need to check in, tell them there that you're coming in to get your visa. Show them your passport and show them the stamp in the passport that the consulate has put in there. You only want to get a 30-day visa. I'm going to repeat this again because it's so important. If you accidentally get a 180-day visa, which is your tourist visa, it's going to wipe out, it's going to take away everything that you did to get that temporary visa. You're going to lose everything. You're going to have to reapply and go back and start from part one and do everything over again. Very important. So when you're there talking to them, tell them that you are getting a temporary visa. Do not let them stamp you only want a 30-day visa. If by accident they did that and you noticed it, ask them to change it right on the spot and they'll do that for you. So now you come into Mexico and you have 30 days. Now we use a service here. We use an attorney. We find it much easier. We don't speak the language. There's a lot, you're reading everything in papers that are Spanish and everything. So we would recommend using a professional service for that. But if you don't want to, you speak Spanish, you feel comfortable with that, you can go into the immigration yourself and get everything taken care of. They're not going to do any of the paperwork for you, but they will tell you what paperwork you need to do and what to fill out. But like us, we get the attorney. They meet us at the consulate. They bring somebody there to assist us. We get the final fingerprints, and then we get our green card there. And so that process is 30 days. So don't let it elapse. Get right to working on it and take care of it as soon as you come in to the country. Okay, now you will have a fee. You come in and you're doing that first part of it, and it's going to cost you a fee for immigration for that first year. And it's going to be about $215 per person for the first year. After the first year, you then can reapply for a second year up to a third year. And then you will have to pay again your immigration fee. So for the second year, you're looking at about $325. And the third year, you're looking at about $425, roughly. Now, if you bring down a foreign-plated car, and so you've taken care of the paperwork and everything at the border, and you've gotten your car permit taken care of, well, when getting your visa here in the 30-day period, okay, now also you need to get your car permitted here. And we use the attorney. They take care of that paperwork. They go to the customs office at the airport and they do all the work for us. Real simple. You can do it yourself and save that money if you want to. If you choose to use a professional service like an attorney, a couple things to know. Their fees are going to be extra. And so they don't have a standard fee from office to office. So ask them what their fees are. Also, it's important, make sure you choose a reputable attorney service that have an office with an address so you can visit their office to sign any paperwork. Because in Mexico, again, everything is in Spanish and you don't want some fly-by-night person taking care of your paperwork, that meets you in a restaurant or the coffee shop and do your paperwork for you. You want to make sure that they are reputable. Ask other people who they would recommend. After 4 years and you're driving a car, then you have two options. And you have a temporal visa. You have two options. One of them is you can renew that and keep driving that car for another 4 years. You would have to leave the country and reapply from the beginning, showing your statements of what income you have, and you would need to just start over from the very beginning. Now, you can opt to get a permanent visa at that time, and it's great because if you do that, you automatically qualify. You don't have to show any other income. You've already done that 4 years ago. And so you just get grandfathered in, and within a week, you can get a permanent visa. But you cannot drive that car that you brought in, because in Mexico, if you have a permanent visa, then you can only drive a car that was made in Mexico and has Mexico plates on it. So you'll have to drive the car out and sell it. A lot of people drive it out. They sell it at CarQuest and come back and buy a Mexican plated car. One of the other things is if you're leaving the country, vacation, or you're driving out for whatever reason, What you have to do is you have to go to the immigration office, say at the airport or at the border, and you need to go there and you need to tell them, and you'll fill out a little form, and you're saying, I'm leaving Mexico. Basically, you're checking out of Mexico. But you're going to make sure on that form they put that you're a temporal or a permanente on there. So when you come back into the country, you can go to the line that says residents of Mexico line, and you don't go through the other line that's for the visitors. And when you go up there, you show them your passport and you show them your green card, and they will see that they need just to let you in. You do not want them to give you a 180-day visa. Like I said before, bang, you've lost everything, and you're going to have to go back to square one, and you're going to have to reapply for everything. So don't do that. But you have to do that. Don't think that you can just breeze through and not submit your documents to check out of the country. And then when you come in, it's an easy process. It's not that complicated. So remember that step. Some people don't, and they really get stung bad by that. Now, this is basic information. There's a lot of variables that maybe you have that are different than what I'm addressing here. Okay, you can look at the website in your area and see what they have to say. You call the consulate and always verify. Also, tell them your circumstance. Maybe you have, an elderly mother that's coming in and doesn't have qualifications. I don't know what it is. There can be other circumstances, and they'll do a workaround with you. They'll really try to make sure that they can accommodate what you need. So just don't be afraid to say, my situation may be different. Do you think I can qualify under these conditions? Just ask. It doesn't hurt to ask. And remember, when you go in there, be polite. Very important, be polite. Because it's, like anything, you feel a little stressed. If you don't speak Spanish, maybe you're in there and there's a lot of, Spanish going on and you're not quite understanding it all. Don't get upset. Really calm yourself, because if you get upset at the person that is helping you, they have all the authority, and they can just stamp you in or they can stamp you out. And so, or they may, change the qualification, because they can do that. So be patient, and you'll learn. If you want to live in Mexico, you definitely have to be patient, because things run on a different pace and it's on a different schedule than we're used to. That's a tip that definitely will last you and give you a happy time in Mexico if you can just relax and just go with the flow as the Mexican people do. Well, I hope this has helped you to get clarifications on your visa. And now you can check out our other videos on the tourist visa and also the permanent visa. The tourist visa, good for 6 months or 180 day. Also, you have your permanent visa. For you who want to live here permanently, this is a choice. Here is the attorney we use in our area. Feel free to call her and ask any questions. Thank you very much.